Hi friends, Jen here with Serenity Hill Farmstead. I have a seed haul to share with you. Now, I'm going to be totally honest here. This is my seed haul. This is the only thing that I purchased from Strictly Medicinal Seeds. You guys know this is where I like to go and get our medicinal herb seeds. Woo, I'm dropping things. But while we're here sharing this, I might as well share everything else with you that we are going to be planting this year. It is the end of March, and you can see that we have already started things, my very sad tomatoes. So what I did here is I actually put saran wrap on top of our soil block trays with tomato seeds in it, and I forgot to check them. Whoops. And they went and got leggy on me. Not all of them, but probably about half of them. So we're giving it a good try here to see if they can straighten up and they'll be good. Because they're not too bad, but some of them are pretty bad. So I've got tons of seed and tons of time. So if I have to restart half these tomatoes, then it is what it is. It's okay. But my main focus is not the tomatoes, and the peppers are in these trays too. My main focus is our herbs. So all of the herbs that I'm going to start from seed are started now, I think. I may have one more tray that I want to do kind of just cause. But the vast majority of what I have left is going to be things that need to be just direct sowed. And some things need to be put in the ground relatively soon because they like to start in early spring, start with their whole germination process. So I'm going to share with you first what I purchased, and then I'm going to share with you everything we're going to be planting this year. So the very first thing I'm going to share with you is broadleaf plantain. Now this does grow wild and it's very abundant, but I really want a controlled area so I don't have to go searching for it. And this is actually going to be going in our herb garden. So we're going to have a fenced garden that's going to have the greenhouse and a learning area for our farm tours and classes and things. So having a gut and lung and nerve and hormone bed are things that I'm going to be putting together so that I can use those for teaching points. And it's going to be super fun. And I have this beautiful vision in my mind. And if you saw my putting everything together, like building out my plans, if you didn't see that, I'm going to link it down below for you to check it out. You can see exactly what I'm talking about, but it's going to be wonderful. I needed some plantain. So we got some broadleaf plantain, which is actually what grows natively here. So that was important to me. Pleurisy root is something I want to add. We can grow it here, and it is perennial here, so I'm excited about that. But I really wanted to have this because of all of my breathing struggles and my issues with inflammation and asthma. Specifically, I wanted to have pleurisy root on hand, so we're going to do that. That's more for me, so and for my family if I need to support them with that. Alfalfa is something that we grow to help amend our soil as a cover crop and also to harvest. So our alfalfa, I needed one more packet for this because I want to grow a separate alfalfa patch that is going to be separate from some of the other things we do from alfalfa. But this is what we're going to be harvesting for use in our teas and things. So that is that one. And catnip, I am going to add some more catnip because I do not have enough planted. So we are doing some catnip this year. Wild dandelion. This is the dandelion that grows native in our area, and we need this for the same reason, because I want to have in those beds. This one is actually going into the gut bed. So the bed that's going to have all of the herbs. And let's see, there's going to be dandelion in it. There's going to be plantain in it. There's going to be, I'm dropping things. There's going to be marshmallow in it. I'm totally blanking out. There will be a few more herbs in it, but dandelion, this dandelion is going to go there. Motherwort, I am so excited to have motherwort. I'm going to do a whole row of motherwort because it is just such a phenomenal herb. I'm very excited about this one. This one is perennial. And where I have it planned to go, it's going to be so many different colorful herbs, like herbs that flower. And when everything has flowered, it's just going to be so beautiful. And the flowers that kind of go with motherwort are more dainty. They're more of a smaller flower, but it's still such a beautiful plant. So I'm going to have lots of motherwort. Really, just on a personal note, I'm super excited to have tons of motherwort on hand because up until now, I have always ended up running out of it and having to purchase more because this is just so good for premenopausal and postmenopausal women. It's a wonderful herb to have. So there's the motherwort. Hyssop. I have tons of hyssop, but all of the hyssop is here at the house and we are obviously moving to the farm. So we need to start our own hyssop bed over there. I had a place for hyssop, but I think I'm going to move it just because hyssop tends to, it tends to spread like underground and put up runners wherever it feels. So I really want to have this somewhere where it's not going to interfere with other things. So I did have a plan for it, but I'm going to rethink this. But this one, I think I'm going to direct sow it. That's what I did with the other ones. Yeah, this just says direct sow. California poppy, fabulous herb for sleep and for the nerves. It's a wonderful, wonderful herb. I'm very excited about this. This is one of the herbs that I mentioned is going to be like in rows of all of these beautiful flowering herbs. So I'm excited to see this one. Wild lettuce. Super excited for this one. I'm going to say that I'm excited about it all because I am. Who's not excited about growing? But wild lettuce is such a good supportive herb for people with chronic pain. So grow yourself some wild lettuce because wild lettuce tincture, and I'm going to be doing videos on wild lettuce and how great it is for you and what you can do with it coming up. So coming up this season as it comes into season and it's ready to harvest. There's a lot to know about it. So there's that one. Peppermint. This is one that I needed more of because interesting story. I have a mint bed, and in that mint bed, a whole bunch of mice decided to make their winter nest underneath it. So as I was pulling out dead branches and cutting things down and trying to amend the soil for this coming year, mice decided to run about, and I didn't like it at all. But I was quite shocked because peppermint is one of the herbs that you can put in places to deter mice. So I'm not quite sure why they chose to put their home underneath the peppermint bed, but it is what it is. So we're going to amend some things and change some things. So hopefully we don't have that happen again. But I see no signs of life in my peppermint bed. So I decided to get some just in case. And peppermint is also one of those herbs that really I can't have too much of. This is something that we go through a ton of in our own family and in tea blends. So this is something that we're gonna go ahead. I can make a secondary bed. That might be a good idea to actually do it somewhere else and put something else there. So even if mice do come back over the winter, it's not gonna be devastating to a crop. All right, stinging nettles. I love stinging nettles, you all know, and I am so excited to do this. I am going to start this in pots. I am not going to direct seed this, though you can do either. Germination 7 to 10 days, but can take longer. These get like feet tall. So like a good healthy stinging nettle plants that are not repeatedly being cut down by the lawnmowers or people that don't want to deal with them. Because, they sting. So this is kind of the normal around us. People just mow down their nettles. I'm going to put this a whole nice thick, it's going to be like a hedgerow and it's going to be really pretty. So, really excited to have stinging nettles and to have a ton of it because that's probably the most used herb that we have. We use nettle in so much. Just in me alone, I use it on a daily basis, a few times a day. Absolutely necessary for me. And then the last one is passion flower, which is a fabulous herb for assisting with sleep and with the nerves. So I'm very excited to have this one. This one requires it's a little high maintenance, this one. It requires scarifying it. So I'm going to go through, when I do this, I'm going to go through it and show you guys how to scarify seeds. And it's very simple to do. It's just extra steps. You know how with vegetables, you will start the vegetable seeds, and they're pretty, like I did my tomatoes here, like they're pretty forgiving. They're gonna pop up. My tomatoes got a little leggy here, but because they're not too big, I can probably save them. They'll be fine. As long as you're just keeping things moist and you're giving them their light, they're pretty much fine. And then when you go to plant them, then things become a little more high maintenance. You have to worry about pest pressure, weed pressure. You know, they're more sensitive to their water. A lot of things that are happening, right? Blight, especially in tomatoes and potatoes. Things to worry about. But with herbs, it's opposite. Herbs are more high maintenance when you're seeding them, when they're still babies. You have to do a little more with them. Not in all of them, but in a good bit of them. So then when they get older and you're transplanting them out, or when they're growing in, if you're direct sowing them, they don't really need you. They have grown up. They are adult herbs now, and they can fend for themselves. They are very prolific, and for the most part, unless you're growing something really dainty like California poppy or chamomile or something like that, where they can get choked out by weeds. And if you have like a really robust weed like thistle or something, that is going to choke out some of your hardier herbs. But generally speaking, once they get all grown up, they do not need you really very much at all to water them or to weed around them. They can fend for themselves. All right, so now we are going to get into everything else that we are growing this year. Now, a quick little side note, this is our second year growing for production. I have been growing medicinal herbs for over 10 years. I have learned tons in that time. And when we decided to make this a actual legit farm and make it something that can be profitable and like try and reach people and educate people and things, that completely shifted, and I had to relearn several things. And you'd think growing is growing, right? Yes, growing is growing. However, when you're growing to scale, when you are growing a larger amount, you have to consider other things, and you have to consider bigger spaces. There's just a lot of other things that you have to consider when you're growing things in a larger scale. It's really all it comes down to. One of the things I really want to do is create fields of things. So I bought 3 of these. One is going to kind of be an experiment, and two of them are going to be in like prepared beds, in prepared areas where we want the oats to be. That experiment area is going to be in my husband's food plot, because at the back of our property is like, you know, the set up hunting area where we've got, you know, places to bring in the deer and a huge hunting blind for him and the kids to go. And we want to turn in the big field that blind is overlooking into a really nice food plot of things that do not grow commonly around here. We live in the land of corn and soybeans. So we want to grow not corn and soybeans to attract the deer. We're going to grow things like brassica blends, and we're going to do some oats, and we're going to do some chicory, and we're going to do some clover and some other nice herbal blends that are, I mean, they're really good for the deer too. I mean, which in turn feed the deer, it feeds us healthy meat. You know, this is what we're telling ourselves. And, I mean, it's true, but are the same deer coming in and out of there? Who knows? Anyway, so, but these oats are going to go in the food plot, and then the 2 other bags that I have are going to be in the herb garden area. So now with oats, there's different stages that you harvest. Milky oats is probably what's the most popular, but you also have green tops and oat straw and things that you can harvest from. Your Jerry oats is what you're looking at here. And it's just a really, really great herb to have on your shelf. It's very mineralizing. It's really great for replenishing. Again, when we're growing this and we're getting into harvesting and everything, I'm going to tell you all you need to know about oats and how to use it in your day-to-day life if you want to do that. Okay, everything fell. So we're going to have to like organize as we go. All right. One of the things that I like to grow just for me, because it is better than anything that you can buy on the shelf, is stevia. You would use this stevia the same way you would use the stevia that you buy from the store. A little goes a long way. It's super, super sweet, but I love stevia, like fresh stevia from the plant. That is the plant. It is the best. Skullcap. I have a couple different varieties of skullcap. Skullcap is wonderful for the nerves, great for sleep. It does a lot of things. So skullcap is excellent. Elecampane. This is already up. I cold stratified these guys, had them in the fridge for themselves. I didn't need tons and tons of elecampane this year, but now I'm kind of wishing that I did do way, way, way more. It is what it is. This year, I'm doing what I'm doing. Now, here's my elecampane. See, it's popped up. We're still waiting on 3. We'll see. They need a water. But we're still waiting on 3 to see if they're going to germinate. But I cold stratified them here. I cold stratified them with saran wrap on top of them, stuck them in the fridge. They sat there from 2-4 to 3-4. And I think they actually went a little bit longer. And then I took them out and I put it straight on the heat mat. And once they germinated, which took a couple weeks, I then just took the saran wrap off and they're good to go. They're right in the sun. I've got grow lights and they're good to go. So very excited to have that. I'm going to have a hedge of elecampane. That is not something that is going to get harvested this year. That is just something that is going to be there and be beautiful this year. And in the next year or possibly the year after that, I'm going to be harvesting the elecampane. We do have some, very little, on our farm that I'm going to be able to harvest at the end of this season, but not lots. So until we get our crop established, because we are after the root, so that takes a few years for it to get good and mature, and we harvest that after it's had a few freezes outside. That's going to be a little bit until we can access that crop. So it's kind of a plant for today to reap the benefits of it tomorrow kind of a thing. This, I'm just showing you the packet. I didn't use the Haas Tool ones. I got these actually a while ago, but these are Rosel Hibiscus, and I'm going to plant a huge long row of these. Super excited about these. This is another little bit high maintenance kind of a plant. If you live up north, you can absolutely grow these, but it is an annual. So you're going to have to start it super early. I started mine in February, and then like really late February. And then we got the flu. So I didn't actually get them in the soil for a couple more weeks after that. So anyway, not having great luck with them right now because I neglected them for a couple weeks. So they soaked for too long. If you guys want to see that video, I'm going to pop that down there so you can check that out. Because the steps are the same. The steps are, scarify, soak, then plant. This one takes a lot more steps to do rather than just sticking it in the dirt. But this is a fabulous plant. So you do, like I said, you need to start it earlier if you are in a colder climate. But this is a tropical perennial. So if you were like in Florida, this is perennial for you, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and it gets huge and beautiful, and definitely one to plant, and it's delicious. So, okay, we already talked about hyssop. That's another thing there. Astragalus, this is already planted also. Where is it? It's up there. And almost everything has popped up, so yay for that. We're still waiting on some, but astragalus is a wonderful one too to have. This one is totally just something I got for fun. Moringa. This is not going to grow here, but it will grow inside in a pot. So it's what I'm doing. I am growing moringa inside in a pot. And I'll probably do a couple because I have 2 huge pots. So I'll probably do 2 seeds in each one just to kind of experiment and see, because you got to do experiments every year. Is how you learn. I always do at least one experiment every single year. Usually I do multiple, but at least one is the goal. You have to do something every year. So I'm going to put probably 2 of them. There's 5 seeds in here. So I'll probably put 2 in one pot, 3 in the other. So if something doesn't germinate, there's others as backup. And if they all germinate, fabulous. I'll have 5 moringa trees. I'll just have to buy more pots. Oh, all right. Then we have ashwagandha. I'm waiting on this to germinate. This takes some time. Yeah, 2 to 4 weeks to germinate. And those... what's the date on that? Yeah, we've still got like 2.5 weeks left to see that's going to work out. Meadow Sweet, this was actually from last year. It got kind of wet and dirty, but Meadow Sweet, I'm going to put down one side of the greenhouse, and I'm excited to have that there. This is another really good one to grow if you are dealing with chronic pain issues. Another one that I absolutely love to see, and I'm going to do trellises of this because it does need a trellis, is butterfly pea flour. Every time I went to purchase from Strictly Medicinal with this, they didn't have it. So I bought it from Baker Creek, and the germination rate is great. And I also have that going right now because it needs a little more time. And my row's looking good. There's still a few more that need to come up, but it's looking fabulous. I threw my packet away because I already planted it. And it's looking excellent. But this is Spilanthes. This is the toothache plant. And that one is, I mean, it has its nickname for a reason. It's excellent, excellent plant. I love it. It has been a lifesaver to our family more than once. And if you plant it and you tincture it, you get the full effects of the tincture as you would chewing the plant. So, because you can't keep it fresh over the winter. So I really like to tincture it and to take the tincture as needed if we run into any issues. And it was really nice to have when everything was shut down and I ended up needing like emergency dental care and they wouldn't see me. So Spilanthes kept me from abscessing and it was a whole thing. So Horehound is another one. Again, this is one that I had from Baker Creek. I used Strictly Medicinal seeds this year, but White Horehound is growing. This is more just for personal use, lemongrass. I love to plant lemongrass in pots and put them by all of my doors every year because it helps to keep the bugs from coming in your house. Cornflower, this is one of those flowering herbs that I cannot wait to see just a super lush, beautiful row coming up out of the ground. Really nice addition to tea blends. That is catnip we talked about. Okay, let's talk about Tulsi. I have several varieties of Tulsi that I am planting this year because, again, I'm experimenting with some things. So true holy basil is actually Tulsi temperate, okay? Let's start with that one. And this one is one of the shorter growing times, like the requirements for it. It only requires 70 days. So I'm doing more Tulsi temperate than anything. Second to that is Rama. So Tulsi Rama is another one that I'm going to be doing. And when I come across the other ones, I'll tell you about the other ones. Common mullein, of course, I'm going to be planting more mullein. I seeded an entire 50-foot row last fall, and I haven't seen a single thing pop up yet. I'm trying to be patient and give it more time, but I'm secretly very impatient, and it doesn't matter how many years that I garden or farm for. I am always secretly very impatient. It's not so much a secret. I'm sharing it with you. I have more mullein on standby just in case I need to reseed it. There will be mullein. There will be lots and lots of mullein. Helichrysum, liquid stitches is what we call this one. In essential oil form or tincture form, really, really good for helping support wound care and helping prevent infection. And this is an excellent herb. And with the way my family is, someone's always getting hurt. So, because, you know, we farm and we're pretty rough and tough. So, especially the guys in our family. So I like to make sure that I always have Helichrysum essential oil on hand. We have a still and we can create it. Just requires growing a lot of the flower. So we have a couple packets of that we're going to do. And now we're down at the last little bit here. So getting into it, marshmallow, and those are looking really good. We're just adding to what we have last year because this is another one. You can use the aerial parts and harvest multiple times a year because it's super prolific and you can get tons and tons and tons of marshmallow just from a few plants. So if you're growing this just for yourself, you do not need a bunch of plants. You can just do like 3 or 4 and that will do you for a year's supply. And then if you leave the plant for a couple years, then you can harvest the roots because marshmallow root is phenomenal for your gut. So we are adding, let's see, what are we adding? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18. We are adding 18 more marshmallow plants. Lemon balm, of course. This is also perennial in our area and it is super amazing. And we only have a handful of these and it, again, is super prolific and you harvest again and again and again from these plants. So I'm planting more. We're gonna have a nice long row of lemon balm. It'll be super amazing. And then we've got 3 more different types of Tulsi here. We've got Krishna Tulsi, Amrita Tulsi, and Vanna Tulsi. So all of these Tulsis really, they differ a little bit in their growing requirements. Like some of them are hardy to zones 10 to 12, meaning they can be perennial. However, the Tulsi or the Krishna is also a tropical perennial. But if not, then you need to grow it as a 120-day annual. So we're going to just experiment with this. It's kind of like the Rosel, like it's not native to this area. You can grow it. It's not like it's not going to grow, but it's not going to live forever. So we're just going to do it as a 1-year crop and see how we like it and see how it grows. And then the Krishna Tulsi, this one is a 90-day to harvest. So it's kind of like the second shortest. So we're going to give that a shot too. And I'm just doing small patches of that. My goal is just along the backside of our greenhouse because it's going to kind of go out and just kind of be this big area that I'll have space to grow and experiment with, a few different rows of things. So that's what we're going to do there. And then my absolute favorite herb for sleep, valerian. Not a blanket statement though, because valerian does not work for hot-headed people. If you tend to be quick to anger, don't do valerian. Maybe do passion flower instead. But I love valerian because it works fabulously for me. It works fabulous for my kids. I love it. I think it's really great in a tea. It's really great in a tincture. We're after the root here for this one. So it's a couple years that we're going to have this grow for. So excited to have that. So that is everything that we are going to plant this year. It is going to be a busy start to the year. Oh, and elder, because I have propagated elder plants up here, thriving and doing amazing. They are looking fabulous. I think I have 15 plants this year. So we'll be transplanting those out and putting those in a place where they can grow and be huge and gorgeous and prolific. And what we'll end up doing with that is we'll alternate the plants. So 1 year, one group of the plants we'll harvest the flower off of, and then we'll harvest berries, elderberry off of the other half of them, and then vice versa, we will switch. Okay, so that is the whole plan. Elder and all of those herbs that I talked about. So of course I'm going to be sharing, my plan is to share everything that we're growing, from how we're starting it to letting it grow and then transplanting it out and caring for it. Things that you need to know about transplanting things, soil requirements, and of course harvesting and making all of the wonderful herbal remedies with these herbs. If you want to join our Herbal Collective membership, that will be going live on April 1st. So in just a few short days, that will be launched, and already in there waiting for you is a few guides on how to get started building a home apothecary, building herbal medicine cabinet, what the difference is between those two exactly, and herbs that you may want to have on hand. It talks about how to use some of these things, how to get yourself started. And then for the month of April, we are doing deep dives into growing. Remember I talked about how high maintenance some of these herbs can be? Well, we're talking about all of it. And I've got seed starting guides and charts and examples, and I'm walking you through how to do it. We've got a community forum, and there's all sorts of freebies and huge discounts on the courses and things if you're interested on going even deeper. So if you are interested in that, don't forget to click the button down in the description box. They'll take you over to the website, straight to our Herbal Collective community. Can't wait to see you guys over there. If you did enjoy this video, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All that tells YouTube you like us and want to see more of us. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.